Okay. Good evening, everyone. We want to call to order the meeting for Tuesday, February 8th, 2022. Our special meeting of the Southeast Lyndhurst Board of Education, our work session tonight. It is now 5:37. Mr. Hill, may we get a roll call?
Ms. Falkenberg? Here. Mrs. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. King? Here. Mrs. Lee?
Here.
Mrs. Ryan?
Here. Perfect. We can go right into item 2.1.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to have 3 presentations this evening, so bear with me. We may be moving things around to be able to better present the topic. The first topic of this evening is being presented by Mrs. Malika Bussey, the district's Family and Community Engagement Coordinator. She is going to talk about some of our parent engagement, our district parent engagement plan review. So, Mrs. Bussey, if you can please join us.
Just to tee up Ms. Bussey, part of what we're doing right now, this allows us with our Title I federal dollars, and part of the regulations is we have to go through the parent and family involvement plan, and you can see on here, it's last revised in 2018, so we thought it'd be a good time to get back in your hands. Ms. Bussey's gonna have a couple talking points on it. You guys can review it at your leisure, over the next few days. If you have any questions or feedback, please let us know. And then we'll have last revision at the next board meeting to have it approved. Ms. Bussey?
All right, thank you, Mr. Cable. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to our board, Superintendent Reed, and all those that are present, and to our parents that are watching. Part of my work as the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator is to help support our building principals in the development of their parent compact. They also have to create a parent engagement plan as well. And so back, actually August, we kind of started this process, just letting our principals know that it was coming. And from there, part of my work was to create a template for the parent compact. So I provided all of our principals a template that they could use to kind of help guide their work as they create their own school parent compact. Since then, each school has created a parent compact. Part of that is that they have to get involvement from stakeholders. And so parents were involved in conversations at their PTA meetings. They provided information to them, but also staff. And so you want to have some staff input also when you are creating the parent compact, because it's about parents, it's about students, and it's about staff. It's about what are they going to commit to as part of our delivery and our non-negotiables when it comes to that engagement. And so that has taken place. The next thing that is happening is that our principals are, at this point, developing their parent engagement plan. I've worked very closely with Ron Stewart, who is our consultant, who helps us with the audit, and this is part of the audit that we're doing as well tonight, in developing a parent engagement policy template. In addition to the Ohio Department of Education also has a template that our principals are currently following to ensure that we are in compliance to the different components that have to be in the parent engagement plan. So stay tuned for that, as you will also be seeing that on the district website soon. For tonight's work, though, the district also has a parent engagement policy, which you have in front of you. And part of that work, as Mr. Capo said, is that there has to be an annual review. And so that's what our conversation is tonight, to allow you the opportunity to see the policy that has been written, and then provide feedback if you so see, whether you want some additions, some deletions, or whatever the case may be. We also will share this information with all of our parents that are at Title I schools. In the parent involvement document that the board had recently reviewed and approved some time ago, they talk about relationships with families, effective communication, volunteer opportunities, learning at home, engaging families in decision-making, as well as collaborating with the community. And so when we talk about relationships with families, we're talking about cultivating a school environment that's welcome and supportive and student-centered. And a lot of our work that we're doing with that currently is through our conscious discipline and trying to create that school-family sense. When we talk about effective communication, we're talking about providing information to our families that is meaningful and information that they can use to help support their students. Some of the things that kind of fall under that effective communication would be the FACE newsletter that I provide monthly and or bi-monthly, depending on what topics we have. We also have our building principals who are providing information through Schoology as well as school newsletters. We talk about our wraparound services and things that we have to support our students. Parent-teacher conferences, which I also work with Mr. Capel's office in supporting those endeavors as well. Communicating with our families that English is a second language. Recently, thanks to the support of Ms. Thompson, we were able to have a bilingual night, which was well attended. And that's part of that engagement. That's really what true engagement is. It is beyond just the ice cream socials of the world. And so that's some of that work. Volunteer opportunities, learning at home. And so through FACE, I provide workshops to our families that talk about how parents can support their children's learning and have partnerships at school, because that's really important for us when we talk about parent and family engagement. And then also engaging families in some decision-making. And with these particular plans, our families were involved. They were invited to be involved and participate in some of that discussion because they have to own it too. When we talk about our core beliefs, part of our core beliefs is that ownership, and that everyone has to have input and be involved. And so, again, sticking to that. And then lastly, collaborating with the community and building partnerships. And so that is part of my work as well as our FACE coordinator. For this evening, as Mr. Capel said, you do have that document in front of you. We encourage you to provide feedback, and if there are some things that you would like to add and or delete, please share that information with me, and we will work to make that happen. Again, this document will be also shared with our parent and noted that it was revised this month.
First, thanks, Melissa. We've done a lot of things, went through, not only within this program, but outside of it as well. And for those that don't know, we have two schools that don't qualify for Title I, and that's Sunview and Brush. So if there's anybody listening that's saying, hey, I don't understand everything, I haven't heard anything about this, if you're at Sunview or Brush, you won't have, this doesn't relate to you. You're not in Title I, you go.
Thank you.
We apologize, I know, it looked like our heater over there is getting aggressive. So, I'm not sure what it is, sounds like maybe something dropped in it or something, so we apologize, we're gonna try our best. Next, we want to talk about the K-8 math curriculum adoption. We have some guests here this evening, some of our teachers. This has been a part of our curriculum and instruction task force that Mrs. Bastock has talked about. So I don't know, Ms. Bastock, if you want to tee it up who is, but introduce our folks. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Sure. So we needed to purchase a new math curriculum for next year. Go Math, the contract not only ran out, but it's actually defunct now. It no longer exists. So we set up the process to go adopt a new math curriculum, and through the CNI task force, we decided to put it in the hands of the teachers. And we had a great lead in Tim Rosenbaum, who stepped up, and he has been doing much of the work, I should say most of the work, on getting teachers buy-in and feedback, and even piloting right now. And he's learned how to haggle with vendors, and he's become a pro. So Tim is here to present where we are in the process and what our next steps are.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rose. Welcome.
All right, well, thank you. And again, the opportunity has been a pleasure to work with the teachers and the CNI committee on adopting the new curriculum. For those who don't know me, my name is Tim Rosenbaum. I teach 8th grade math at Memorial. I've been working through the curriculum instruction committee, and along with Michelle, I'll let her introduce herself in the back there, through her resident educator program.
I'm Michelle Wojciechowicz. I was at Greenview for the first 2 years in SEL, and I'm right now currently at Memorial as a 7th and 8th grade math teacher. Hi. Yes, well, I'll get to know Ms. Wojo, and I'm actually said you have to introduce yourself because I can't pronounce that.
Neither could I,
But we've had a really strong committee, and like I said, we've been working since started in early October on this project. So if you can go ahead and click the next slide. We started with our key adoption phases. There's 6 of them that we took from Ed Reports, and you'll hear me mention Ed Reports a couple times throughout this presentation. It's an awesome independent third party that reviews curriculum, different curriculums and different programs. And they have 6 adoption phases that we kind of modified somewhat to fit our needs. The first step was to establish a project timeline and committee members, develop the vision and priorities of the committee, research and select potential programs. We're in phase 4 now with a detailed review, and we're piloting a couple programs. And then moving on to phase 5 with our final program selection and implementation in phase 6. On this side, you can see what phases we kind of went through in each month. And some of the phases are shorter than the others. So you can see in October, phase 1 and 2 was completed. That's what the green check mark indicates. In November and December, we completed phase 3, started phase 4 in late November. In January and February, we're still in phase 4, so that's the detailed kind of analysis of each program. That's why it's taking the longest out of the phases. And then March, April, we're on track. We're first on track to complete phase 4 in January, February. March and April, complete phase 5, and then phase 6 in May and on into the next school year. So everything's on track. Some phases have already been completed. For phase 1, we established a committee, and what we really wanted to see was that each building was represented, that each grade level was represented, and that we had kind of a mixture. We had a gifted intervention specialist on the committee, a couple other intervention specialists. We had members of the CNI committee as well, as you can see with that kind of star after their name. So we had a diverse population from all across the district represented. In phase 2, we began developing our vision and a list of priorities, and I won't go through each one here, but just to point out some. Our vision and goals is what do we want to see, and student engagement and success was number 1 on the list. Student agency and growth that's built through a productive struggle, multiple teaching and learning strategies, differentiation, and real-world application to demonstrate mastery when it was applicable to the standards. To find our priorities, we did a SWOT analysis of the current program, which is Go Math. We kind of determined, if you're not familiar with SWOT analysis, it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and went through how can we capitalize on adopting a new curriculum. What did we like about the old? What did we want to look for some new ways to improve? Some opportunities were to work through the Curriculum Instruction Committee on finding an accelerated pathway and ideally offering geometry in 8th grade at some point. Some threats would be technology issues, so we identified those. We wanted to, and that helped us see that we wanted to do things like single sign-on and Schoology integration. We also looked at usability for students, parents, guardians, and teachers. Ed Reports also does a unique report just for that in their 3rd gateway. Clear learning objectives, and then especially for the K-3 students, consumable textbooks and manipulatives. In phase 3, we began researching and selecting potential programs. We used EdReports again to research. They do a 3-gateway process. The first 2 gateways are built on how does the curriculum align to standards. The 3rd gateway is all about usability, and you don't move on to the 3rd gateway until a program has passed the first 2 gateways. We contacted other districts, whether it would be individual meetings, math roundtables, just contacting who you know to see what programs were out there. And I had the opportunity to meet with different publishers to kind of hear their pitch on what programs they thought would fit our needs. We selected 3 to 4 programs to do our detailed review of in phase 4. Again, we used EdReports, and we had some qualifying standards. It had to meet expectations on all 3 gateways within EdReports. It had to fit our priorities list, and we really wanted to focus on keeping K-8 uniform. We didn't want to have K-3 on one program and then 4 through 8 on a different program. We also looked at the publication date. We wanted the newest product. It seems like products are flipping about every 3 to 4 years right now, so it was important to us to stay on one of the more current versions. With that being said, we selected Envision, HMH Into Math, and Big Ideas Math to have come out and present to the committee members. Phase 4, kind of the longest phase, so you'll see on the right-hand side it has a green light there, meaning we're on track to complete it, but it did cover or span all the way from December, January, and February. We had the companies come out to present to us. We then chose 2 of those companies to pilot for 3 weeks each. We started that after winter break from January 12th through February 1st. We just got done piloting the Envision. And then HMH Into Math from February 2nd to February 23rd, so we're right in the middle of that right now. Also during this process, we were able to use ANET, which is a resource that helps us break down standards and really identify the 3 different shifts in math. And it really goes along with adopting a curriculum. It kind of worked perfect timing that we're using ANET this year, because it kind of helps teachers look through each standard independently, and it works with developing our math vision. Some next steps in phase 4 is to complete the HMH math pilot, complete our ANET professional development, which should all be completed by February 23rd is the end date. Phase 5 would be to meet with the committee to debrief, complete an evaluation rubric that's based on our priorities list established back in October. Select the program for recommendation to the C&I committee, and then work with the publishers, the C&I department to finalize final details to purchase a program. And then the final step, phase 6, would ideally happen start in May. With our technology department, we get rosters, single sign-on integration for students, so that way we can begin training in May. What I would prefer to see is a train the trainer model. It kind of keeps the expertise in-house. And that way, when we have new teachers come on, things like that, we can train, we can set up training nights for parents, guardians, things like that. And then materials distribution would probably take place sometime over summer. I'm a big person on follow-through whenever you're implementing a project, just to make sure that we're sustaining the implementation throughout the next school year. So we would see new teacher training, student and parent guardian training all the way into next school year, and then collecting feedback to make sure that the needs are being met and the curriculum and program is working as we intended. Thank you.
Any questions or comments right there? Well, I was going to say, yeah, the word is that the C&I team and under the leadership of Mr. Rosenbaum too kept people on task, and I'm going to say, Ms. W, and I don't know if I can say your last name too. Thank you so much for doing that, and you know, it's really important when you talk about doing an adoption, and it's easy for vendors to come in. Having been a former curriculum director, very easy for vendors to come in and dazzle you, and really something that might look good on the surface level is not really what's best for the students and the program, and in this case the math program. So I'm really happy to see that that a process has been adopted by our curriculum instruction department, and that it includes teacher leadership in it as well. And I think you saw a fine example of that this evening, not just with Mr. Rosenbaum, but the other folks that were involved with it. So we thank you for your hard work, and we're really happy about, confident about getting a good product out there for our students.
Yeah, I just want to say, having been on the board for a long time, and I'm a process person. The longest of the time, I'm sorry. That it's nice to see a process in place. It's nice to see the collaboration and the sharing of information with us. And not that we've never received information about, when we've adopted curriculums, but it's never been at this level. It's always been kind of after the fact, or like right before, just a little, this is what we're doing, and kind of a short why. But this is, really, nice to see that you all work together and collaborate, because I've remembered other times when we've adopted things and then we always hear from people, oh, why did we do that? Or, we get backlash. So it's nice to see people working together and putting in so much effort.
Tim makes that very easy. We've been spoiled, we're not gonna lie. He's taking the lead on this and developed and always keeping us updated. There hasn't been a ton of feedback for him. He's done an outstanding job.
And we're gonna steal his process.
I mean, but I'll say he
Stealing is
also,
next.
he runs his classroom the same way. So I will say I appreciate that he's very thorough and he does well with his students. So I wouldn't expect, especially him and Ms. Mojo, I would not expect anything less of either of them, so thank you.
So our third discussion item this evening, before I introduce our guest here this evening, I think when you look at course description, academic options, I don't think when you look at the product that you really can have an appreciation of the level of work that has gone into really looking at a course description book. But wait till you see, there's just so much there. It's was a very collaborative effort with several goals that were kept, and I'm not going to steal their thunder. One of the things I do want to say is, for years we've heard about the lack of electives at the high school. Well, we are on the move because you're going to see some new electives that are going to be offered to our students. That's just all so exciting. And I need to tell you, after the last, I keep saying 18 months, but now it's like almost 2 years with regards to COVID and just different things. This sounds like crazy, but we're coming out stronger than ever, and it gave us time to really regroup and look at things. There's a lot of new team members here and people in different places, and I'm just really excited about moving forward. And Ms. Tom, this was a collaborative effort, so I don't know if you have anything you want to add before I introduce Ms. Ball. Okay. So with that being said, Ms. Ball. Ms. Sarah Ball is here this evening, one of our high school guidance counselors, and she is going to talk through some of the exciting things that they have been working on for months and months and months. So, Ms. Ball, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening, sorry. Please forgive me, I did not realize this was the setup. No, you're totally fine. I'm a little bit more laid back, but I'm gonna get right. So I'm one of the school counselors here at Brush and worked with great people. We went through the course description book. Bridget Johnson, Jesse Blazier, Christy Myers, and Jeff Berenson, working in collaboration with Joe Nicholas to get our course description book up to date. There were many changes. If you saw the original, you would be just excited as we are to see this new course description book. I will tell you, we took a look at the course description book from, sorry, my heart, can you hear my heart? We looked at this course description book from various perspectives. As a student, if I went to the website, what do I need to know? As a parent, what was important to see? And also as staff members, what do we need easy access to? So we moved a lot of the important information to the front of the course description book, and we also just fine-tuned it, made it streamlined it so that it makes sense, because I'm sure as parents, you just want to know the facts. What does it take to graduate from Brush? And so you all have a copy in front of you. Mr. Capel, are you my Vanna White tonight? Okay. So just a few things I want to point out to you. The first If you go to page 4 on the table of contents, you'll see this throughout the course description book. We did make hyperlinks. We created hyperlinks because this is not about a printable version. This is about our families, our community, our teachers, whoever, staff members, being able to go into the course description book and get what they need right there. Because we don't anticipate anybody printing out this 80-page document. So we brought the course description book into 2022. So we do. We created hyperlinks, so there's our first one. If Mr. Capel, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can click on it, and then as a parent, you go directly to what it takes to graduate from ODE. Some other things on page 7. Oh, I'm sorry, and on page 6, Mr. Capel. We also shortened our table of contents. It's no longer 2 pages. Table of contents should be pretty quick and simple. So we shortened that a lot, just to get to the meat of what we need to know. Some more clickable links. The community service form is now linked into our course description book. It's not, we can simply say, go to the course description book. We still would keep copies in our main office and in our guidance office, but again, this is just more user-friendly for our families and our students. On page 7, this is one of my favorite parts of the book, and also the team that we all worked together with. We were so excited to put this in. It's visual, it's bright. You can see what it takes to graduate from Brush, about the 20 credits, and specifically which 20 we're looking for. And just based on the new graduation rules from the ODE, from the class of 2023 and beyond, a lot of things have changed. And even talking to some of my parents, where they had older siblings, they're like, Ms. Ball, what you mean? We just had to get 18 points. And I say, no, ma'am. It's all new. So this breaks it down. It's probably just a little bit easier for our parents to understand that we have to show competency. Our students have to show competency, and what does that mean? And then they also have to earn seals. And if you continue going, Mr. Capel, AKA Vanna, there is an explanation of all the diploma seals, the state seals as well as our local seals, which was approved, I believe, last school year. And so we hope all that information is in the front. If you want to go further, you can. But as a parent, you know, this is what I need to know right here in the beginning of my course description book. And it's not just fluttered throughout the entire book. A few other, are there any questions so far? Yes. We were very excited as well. Joe, he was a great person to work with, and he made all of us on the team feel just like heard, and that's very refreshing. And he took our ideas. If you saw our original and all the notes and even the original document online, we put things in red and pink, and what's this, and why is this here, and this is from 1995, and this doesn't even mean anything anymore. So we really went through and really took the time to go through page by page, line by line, and there are still some changes. This is not where we want it to be. We are very happy about this, but we have high expectations at Brush and period in the counseling department, so we want to make it perfect. So we're still working.
I do have a question.
Yes.
I'm noticing on the third column there.
Mhm.
So those are, what was the heading at the top? If you could scroll.
So that's the approved courses and programs that we can provide you here at Brush. So we do not have
So
a
it'll be
military.
dropped, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but
There you go.
if the technology seal, you can earn it at Brush by taking computer science principles.
That's so nice.
And one of our new elective courses that we've been hounding you all about for years is the computer application class. And so we are listing, as a parent, you know,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, I need you to get this. So you taking computer science principles. There's no choice.
That's a
I want
nice
you to get your
visual.
seals, and I want you to get it done and over with, right?
Yeah.
That's how I would think as a parent. My mother was a school counselor. She made me take things, I was like, what? Why am I taking this? And that's what, she was like, this is what you need to take to graduate. We want our parents to use this, like, no, I don't want you waiting till 12th grade to earn your seals. This says you can take computer science principles. You can take it 10th grade, 11th, you're gonna get it out the way. That's how we want our families to think.
That's wonderful, that's really great, thanks.
And so that's what the third column just lets you know what aligns to the seal. On page 20, we are very excited. We have a policy and a procedure for withdrawing classes and adding classes. It is not willy-nilly. We believe in timelines here. I believe in a deadline because we are all adults in the real world. Deadlines are important. And so this is one of the new additions. And as you all are aware, most of you, if you've been here for the last year or two, we did change class rank, and that is reflected on page 21. We also, I'm sorry, but we're so excited about many things. So I'll keep going. And you can cut me off, say, Sarah, you talk too much. That's fine. Page 23, we really streamlined our educational options. It was really all over the place. You had to turn to 3 to 5 different pages just to learn about Excel Tech. And that is one of our favorite offerings for our families. And we really want them to have an understanding what it is, how do you apply for it, what's the process, what's the procedure. And so on page 23, it is very hard to find good work. Good help these days.
Oh, okay.
Is it 23?
No, wait a minute. No, I think there's,
That's 23.
Oh, that's 23.
That's 23.
Oh, I'm sorry, something must have went off. There we go, I'm sorry.
okay.
You're good.
You know, we moving things around. Apologize about that.
At least hot off the press.
But the educational options page, you'll see all the bullet points. How we talk about, first, there's AP honors courses. We have College Credit Plus that's available. We go through and we give you little snippets. And then after the educational options that does the bullet points, we explain further each bullet point. And so you're not flipping around to different pages. And of course, as you can see, Mr. Capo, if he clicks on catalog, it'll take you directly to the Excel Tech catalog course offerings. And it explains what each of our Excel Tech programs, what they're comprised of. And so, yeah, we're very happy about that. I will move forward because I feel like I'm talking a lot, but
Engaged.
to course of studies, you can keep going. For me, it's page 30. Yeah, it's after this. And this is all athletic eligibility we just cleaned up. And we know the illustrious Mrs. Falkenberg is going to use her ELA background and hopefully go through this again and make sure we have worded things appropriately, right? So thank you in advance, Mrs. Falkenberg. So this is the beginning of the course of studies. One of the things that we talked about as a team was that we wanted everything to be alphabetical order. Our course, this section of the course description book used to start with fine arts and then consumer, and we're, as Melissa would say, some of us are box people. That would be myself, and I'll just call out myself. I won't call out other members on the team. So we did wanted to put our departments in alpha order. It's a small thing, but it meant a lot to us. I will point out some new courses, and some are in their pilot year right now. As you should be aware, Career Connections is now in the course description book. And we've added all the courses into that and a full explanation of the 4 years that students will be taking Career Connections. As I mentioned before, computer applications, very excited about. And Ms. Johnson, she is our 9th grade counselor. She's very excited that it's offered to her 9th graders because they do need more electives. We will continue to say this. Thank you for listening. And then we do have the ACT prep course. Right now, it is under the consumer and computer tech education section, just because we weren't sure where to place it. But it is something we definitely need now that Brush is an ACT school, and we want to make sure that our students are career and college ready. We want to prepare them fully for the ACT because we will be taking it March 1st. But my next year's students, they're going to get the prep for real. All right. We have fine arts, not too many changes there. Health and physical education. there were changes, or additions, I should say, instead of changes. We haven't too much removed anything, just refining things. So currently we have weight training 1 and 2, but in the future, we're thinking about changing the curriculum behind that and also offering ARC Built 1 and 2 and making sure that all of these courses not only align, but there's actually a definition and separation between the courses. So if you take ARC Built 1, you're an athlete, an in-season athlete, and then that is going to look completely different from ARC Built 2. Currently, you know, the courses were new, like weight training, and I think we just wanted to get the courses moving. We want to just make sure that our students are actually experiencing different things in different parts of the course. So, and we're also, I love that we have transfer students do earn their PE, we will accept their PE waiver. We just love all the protocols and procedures that are in writing. I love it. So there's no confusion for our parents, right? You can go through and say, well, my child comes from West G or somewhere else that they provide a PE waiver. You can look in the course description book, like we will accept it and honor it, as we should. Any questions so far? Okay, sorry, am I talking out of turn? My bad. Okay, I'll just be me, I'm sorry. All right, language arts. I think from one change, theater used to be an all-year class, but we're, again, making improvements and changes. Theater is now broken up into semester courses. And so that is probably the biggest change there. We still are hoping to get more students involved in the electives that we offer through ELA. Comics and graphic novels seems to be going very well this year, so I hope it picks up again for next year. We, of course, after that have our summer reading, which I love, that we are empowering our students to continue reading even during the summer, because one of our initiatives is about reading. And then I hope, which I don't know, I'm not an elementary school teacher, I don't work in an elementary building, but I hope that becomes K-12. We encourage reading because as we improve our reading, it affects all other areas of academics. And so our summer reading for this summer is already is already in place for the course description book. And then math, which I think is 56. Yeah, you're going the right way. You're good. Mhm. English has a bunch. And I will say that, I will say it was nice to hear, especially in talking, you know, here at Brush, our department coordinators are very important. They're experts in their field, especially because they've been around typically and they like to listen to their own department members. But even talking with Sally Fine about the English, it was good to hear her input from when she talked to Joe. And then I know Joe did speak to Jen Tapman concerning math, which I'm about to bring up. I think it's very important to talk to our department coordinators and just to get a feel of their ideas, because there's some great ideas we all have. And just like the counselors and Berenson, we are happy about this course description book because we feel a part of something that we've wanted to change for a while. So I appreciate that the department coordinators are being included as well. For mathematics, we have a new 4th year course. It will be senior only, and that is the mathematics modeling and reasoning. You're getting it off the ground. We have a course number. And then if you look, there is a course description for it as well on page 61. We just wanted to give our seniors a different option besides discrete math for those students who just need a little bit more support before they go off to college. So we have a second option for them that will help improve their critical thinking as it pertains to math and improve any algebra skills as well. Yes.
This is exciting too, for a curriculum person, to get excited about this. But the math sequence, of course, is it's a nice visual, because then you kind of know what your prerequisites are, plus it also helps the science department. Because there's certain things that you need to be able to have, or you know what I mean, and it shows that piece, so it's just really inclusive. It's just, there's so many exciting things in here too.
I agree. And it's also important with math and science that they talk, you know, Mr. James and Jen Tapman, Ms. Tapman, they talk as well, because especially as it pertains to junior year and senior year of science, because we made math changes, we want to make sure our students are fully prepared and ready for a chemistry class, which is math heavy, in your junior year. And physics is also math heavy. So it's a good collaboration, and that's why we love the transparency of it all. Let's have a conversation on how can we make things better. So yeah, to your point, I completely agree. Music, 2 new courses introduced. Music Technology 1, Music Technology 2. Very excited to hear about that because it gives our students who aren't interested in playing an instrument a different avenue to take with music. From the explanation, which is on page 65 for me.
Yep, and if I can share, because this is a direct, we're excited too, because this past year, I've jumped in and worked with the music department, talked with John Champ months ago. It was one idea. The next thing I know, we've been meeting on and off since probably October. I have with the music department. I did survey parents, and I think we had like about 160 parents answer their survey. And one of the things that we asked in there was, you know, if you want to see electives, what would you like to see? And believe it or not, the music technology was one of the higher ones that were answered. We had about 100 students also take the survey, and it was mostly 7th and 8th graders that did. And the answers too were also music technology too. So I think a lot of people are excited about it. And to Ms. Ball's point is, you're right, there's a lot of folks that are actually interested in playing an instrument, but what we found out through the surveys, there's a lot of students that are interested in music and not necessarily, you know, the actually playing an instrument. That may happen later. The other thing is we have great facilities for our students. You talk about the makerspace, and you talk about what we've done up here in the sound rooms and different things. So I think this is also going to help us maximize. This is kind of build it and they will come. I mean, obviously we have to do more curriculum work with it, but I'm really excited for our students as well. So glad it made it in.
Same, very excited to just have new offerings and to build up departments, right? Build up our music department. I know working to build up our band, but this is a different avenue within music. Same thing with the consumer and business classes, having the career connections, having more computer science type of classes, that builds up a program. And then our students feel like, oh, after this class, I have another option. I really like it, now I got a third option. We're all about options and opportunities because our students deserve that, our community deserves that. Science, no changes from, no, we'll keep going. I'm like, no, I don't read, that's not in my notes. Okay, social studies. Social studies, we are taking government, and Joe, I believe, talked to Joanna Lewis, who is the department coordinator. Again, I love that department coordinators were brought in and had a discussion about just how we can get that financial literacy more designated time, not just embedded into the course. So government, students are going to completely get their government in a semester, and then they will follow it up with financial literacy, which is kind of what they do now, but it's going to be more dedicated time, the entire semester, financial literacy, instead of embedded within the course. So first semester government, second semester financial literacy, which is great, and I'm glad to hear that the social studies department was on board with that. Do anybody have any questions? On 73, so for government, it says,
I totally missed it, sorry.
yo, you see,
Yeah.
I'm like, Ms. Falkenberg, maybe we don't want you. We'll just blame, it's a little late in the day, you're just a little tired, that's all. worked with Mrs. Falkenberg for a long time. Oh, yes.
So I see for the social studies, there's a little, a plus sign that says like for the AP classes, students are selected for this class. What's the criteria for being selected for one of those classes?
So first is taking the prereq, and then secondly, AP Euro especially. I have students as juniors, you know, if they don't take government, they'll wait till their senior year to take it. So I have students that'll ask, can I take AP Euro? I'll explain, like, it is very different from just a world studies, a US history. If that's all you've taken, you've never taken an honors class, you've never taken an AP history class. So the social studies teachers will talk to each other, just to, and to the school counselors to get see what their background is in the subject area and just have a better understanding of their work ethic. I don't know if anybody that hasn't been allowed to be in, but we do like our students to understand this is not your standard English class. You're gonna have to, social studies class, you're gonna have to dedicate a significant amount of time outside of the classroom to get in the course. So even for AP Euro, I have students that have never taken an AP class take that class. And then also for AP Psych, we do have a number of students that don't take Psych, but they have shown a strong work ethic and a willingness to actually take AP Psych. They go ahead and take AP Psych. So it's just more of a conversations had and looking into the students' course history and have they shown themselves capable and willing to do the work outside the classroom. Those AP courses, as you all know, you can't complete the work during the school day. You're not going to get it all done in 50 minutes. So we want to make sure we're setting you up for success because we believe once you're in, you're in. And we want to make sure that you are given all the, background, not just, I'm going to take this course because I want to take AP course. So you're like, well, we got to have a real conversation. This is the expectations. This is what the workload is. Does it still sound like something you want to do? And then after social studies, there is world languages, which I will drop in. It would be nice if we could have another world language. I don't know, just throwing it out there. 4 world languages just sounds a little bit more round to me than 3 different ones. Just saying, since I got the podium, I will say that. And then we took out all those other extra pages at the back. This used to be 100 pages plus. We took them all out because we weren't using them. And then we will have appendices where we're going to put those forms that have hyperlinks also in the back. And hopefully we'll be able to link within the form and you can go here from here. I would love, even our team would love, if you clicked on somebody's email address, it would set you up to do an email so you don't have to do copy paste. So in the future, we want to make this completely digital friendly and does what we wanted to do perfectly. So this is just a great start. Again, a wonderful team to work with. If you don't know Bridget Johnson, Jesse Blazier, Christy Myers, Jeff Berenson, you need to know them because they really took the time to go page by page, give their thoughts. We had lots of conversation. Joe was great as well, a lot of push and pull. Like, so what about this? What about this? Well, I don't think this will work. I love those kind of things. So everybody's opinion was important, and that meant a lot. And I think I'm done. Oh, no. I thought I was free.
Who's charged with the task to monitor the updates?
We are.
Okay.
Yes, we will take that on.
Okay.
It's nice too, now that it's on a Google Doc each year when they're going through it, they're switching. And like Ms. Ball said, being able to scroll across or click on the email. So into the summer, that's where Ryan met with Joe. And Ryan has a full grasp on exactly what they want. So over the next few months, we're really gonna see this
Start beefing up.
come into that, what their vision is of it. Being fully online, scrolling, clicking on email addresses, and all those things. So kudos again as well.
Thank you. Yeah, a great team. It wasn't just me. It was everyone. Yay, guidance department. Shout out to Berenson. Shout out to Joe.
So, okay, so one quick question. So when the 8th graders have their orientation next week, they'll receive this new course book?
Yeah.
They'll get a
Oh,
card.
well,
with a
I don't know
link
the
on it.
approval, but yes, that's mine.
No, that's a
If
good,
it's,
I
if it's board
really,
approved on Tuesday.
So, yeah, the goal
Okay.
was, you know, we wanted to get this approved on the board. And I guess my question being, because it's electronic, sometimes it can become a working document. And I think we have to, you know, we don't have to go through the whole process. Maybe there's something we can. Yeah, okay. But yeah, the idea, the reason we were trying to get this done, they were working diligently too, is to be able to present it to the board this evening. And then, of course, next week it'll be on for the adoption, next
Nice.
Tuesday.
So when they give it to them, they're not pushing that card out again with 100 copies. They're giving out like access points or
It should
emails
be,
and
yeah,
cards.
yeah.
Okay.
but
It
just
is.
period, is this, if this one hasn't been approved, this one won't be given to parents. We won't get the link. So that's why I'm asking, will it be ready for the time they have that great
When is
organization?
that? When is there?
I think it's the 15th, if I'm correct. I believe it is the 15th.
And that's
I thought it was
what
close
day
to
is
a
that?
board. It was either the 15th or the 16th, because it's close to a
I thought it
board.
was the 16th.
The 16th, then- the-
15th.
okay.
Yeah, I think we
That's-
planned.
So the
that's
16th,
timeline.
okay.
You
So,
made
yeah.
it better, yeah.
Okay.
Because it was the 8th and we pushed it.
Yeah, and then they pushed it back. Okay, that was all I wanted to know, because I loved it.
Yeah. I
You
think parents
also
gonna like
have
it too.
insert, just, it also gives an explanation, so you don't have to flip through, all these pages. Lets you know about the new courses we have in mind. Most are a go, a couple are just, we need to tweak, we're definitely gonna do it, just putting that out there. So you can also read this insert as well. Anybody else questions? Thank you for your time, I appreciate you having me, and, my heart has stopped beating so bad.
You did wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
See, we don't bite.
I think really three great topics here this evening, which is just a snapshot of a lot of the work that's being done. So we appreciate the board listening to the hard work of everybody. I'm glad we get to tape it. Hopefully some people will take a look at it. And I tell you what, we're really moving here. So thank you to everybody, and I'm very proud of the team. Thank you. One thing I did want to mention with new courses that we have for music, one of the things that came out in the survey too from parents and students, that scheduling was always a challenge with regards to our music students. And so we did commit as a district to hiring two new music teachers. And so that is going to help us offer these new courses and at the same time plug the holes that we feel that we have at especially Greenview and Memorial right now. So stay tuned on that. And that concludes our presentation discussions for this evening.
Did you want to, how did,
Oh, we did, I'm sorry.
you wouldn't go into this for, or did you want, how do you want to talk
Could
about
we,
that? Make
well,
it-
do we want to add a discussion item? Would the board like to add a discussion item with regards to dedications, or was that something you wanted to do it in?
Should I bring,
We
so,
want to see where we are. I just wanted to add it in if we had another discussion item.
so
Yeah.
well, it was like right at the beginning of COVID, or I received an email from a previous board member who had
during
asked about the
discussion.
possibility of recognizing, why am I blanking now? I've worked with him so many times.
Cirillo.
Yes,
Larry.
Mr.
Larry.
Cirillo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. good. So, recognizing Mr. Cirillo is, he was a longtime administrator at Memorial. He has continued to be supportive of, at Memorial by, through the Kiwanis program, running the basketball tournament for a long time. And so he just reached out and said, hey, is there a possibility that, we can dedicate some space in Mr. Cirillo's name? And so I'm like, well, let me forward it to the superintendent, and then COVID hit, and so it's kind of gotten on the back burner. So since things are starting to slow down again, and before he reaches out again, thinking, I'm like, I swear we're gonna talk about it.
Sure.
We wanted to, bring that forth. We have named we named the, Greenview baseball field in the last few years, is the last one I remember bringing forth to us. I think Mike will probably remember that. And so, Linda.
If I may, a few things. So I decided when that came up, and again, we apologize when COVID hit, and it just seemed like everything was that, and not that this wasn't important. You know, I tried to look to see if there's an established criteria within Southfield Lintners for dedication, and there isn't, and not that that's a bad thing, because when I went to called around a number of other school districts, there is a uniqueness to every type of naming. So sometimes it's because of impact, sometimes it's the number of years, sometimes it's just different things. And so what's presented to the board is that, you know, there is, and again, there's nothing being voted on here, but the idea of discussion is that there is a longtime administrator for the district, former administrator for the district, that had a big impact on a lot of the of students and families for many years, and then after retiring also was involved in local organizations that helped with pancake breakfasts, and I think you said the basketball tournament, and up until probably prior to COVID, we saw him in our buildings and really was a participant. So the question becomes is, you know, number one, you'd have to maybe talk about what would be an appropriate place for it. Number two, and in our buildings, so you would kind of look at the impact maybe not just on the district, so maybe if this person was at a particular building for a number of years, in this case Memorial, and you know, there are some rooms like the makerspace, and there's other different areas that we do have in our district that have been dedicated to various individuals. So I just want to bring everybody up to speed on that. And so again, really not having a formal nomination process, but I guess that's something to discuss about if it is formally nominated, what is the criteria and what is the outcome. So I think those are some things that we need to make sure that we're clear about. So,
Is it worth, and I don't know who would do it, but is it worth looking at other districts that have done it just to see if they have a process in place, or do we
and I
spin
did.
the wheel and create our own?
Well, I did reach out to a few, and everybody's just kind of like, it was not something that was really memorialized. It was almost like, yeah, we've done it, and then I'm like, well, you want to send it my way, and and it really wasn't there. It's not to say that I can't do it again. I just didn't have, you know, we can create our own too.
Did you ask Maple what they did? They have to have something, because they name buildings after
Yeah, they do, they certainly do, and I can certainly reach out to Charlie Keenan from Maple Heights. I don't believe I have. I think I touched the people in this area, but I will give it another go. I do think it would be important to set, first of all, a nomination, to set some type of criteria, and with regards to and then of course an appropriate dedicated space that people might think it would be. And if we can't find anything, I think we maybe don't overthink it, and we feel if it's important, then we put a process in place. Okay. Probably.
So I guess we can probably, see what we can come up with and maybe revisit that? I hate to say that, lack of better words.
No, I
'cause
think
we've
what I
been
can do,
revisiting for-
let me do this, because again, I know we've talked about it as well. I will reach out to Maple to see, and if they don't, I can draft something, and then I think with enough eyes around the table, we can maybe come up with something that we may feel is
Mike,
appropriate.
do you remember when we at the Greenview thing, did someone submit like a letter and then we did a
Yeah, what we did was that I
resolution?
reached out everywhere I could find, and nobody had a process.
Yeah, we did.
So it was kind of creating our own. So we put together a group of people from I should say ex-ADs, I guess, previous ADs, some retired coaches, some current coaches, the current AD, and we had a committee go over that form that was submitted. It was actually our Hall of Fame form that we kind of just changed a little bit, I think.
Nomination.
And that's how we ended up doing Humble, that it went through a committee, because the circumstances are always different, but you also don't wanna have it on 3 people that you approve or disapprove, and
Yeah.
why. It
Right.
makes it really tough, because there are times where maybe you're gonna say no, you
Yeah.
know, so it's tough, you know. So there was a committee put together to go over that form.
Once we get that established, is it worth passing it by, legal with?
Yeah, I think one of the things,
Just
just sidebarring right here, I mean, again, a lot, when you talk about a Hall of Fame process, it's probably not a bad process to kind of clone. And so what we can do is if maybe look at, because a Hall of Fame process or Wall of Achievement, just different things, usually has a nomination, usually has a set of different eyes on it, and then, of course, you know, a selection in that piece. So what we can do is maybe we will try to duplicate that, and then, to your point, we have another set of eyes look at it. Yeah.
Hearing no other discussion items? We have no need for executive session this evening. And may we get a motion to adjourn at 6:36?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.